Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the URC. This one, the Sharks at home taking on Edinburgh. Now, this is a very important game for the Sharks, and every single game from here on out, you will hear me say that exact same thing. They currently sit in 16th after the way that Zebra versus the Dragons went, but the hopes are high for the Sharks. If they can manage to get themselves a win here, they will boost their way all the way up to 13th. And at the end of the round, that is where they could find themselves. Whereas for Edinburgh, they are sitting currently in 6th. They have got all their internationals back from the Six Nations, including the likes of Duan van der Merwe, who will be looking to have a real impact on this Durban field. But looking through at the starting lineup for the Sharks, they have gone stacked for this contest. Oxney at number 1, Bongi Manambi at number 2, and Vincent Cox starting in as the number 3, Eben Etzebeth, and it will be Emil van Heeren as the number 5, so no Gurra Rubela in the starting lineup for the Sharks this week. James Fenter at 6 with Vincent Tsuka as the number 7, and Pepsi Buthelezi to start as the dangerous number 8. Jaden Hendrickse and also Masuku will be the 19 combo, a combo that worked very well last week in the Sharks' first victory in quite some time when they got the win over Ulster. Francois Fenter in the midfield alongside Lucanio and then it will be Makas Olimapimpi Vernecock and Apalele Fassi as the back 3. Then for Edinburgh, like I mentioned, they have got a few of their internationals back. Pierce Scorman, Ewan Ashman, and WP now as the front row with Jamie Hodgson, and Sam Skinner starting in as that 4-5. Jamie Ritchie at 6 with Hamish Watson 7 and Viliami Mata closing out that strong Edinburgh fullback. Balakot will be starting at 9 with Ben Healy as the 10. Dean and Curry in the midfield with Duan van der Merwe out on one wing. He is going head-to-head with Werner Koch here, and I feel like that will be an explosive battle. Both men have the potential of scoring multiple tries in a game, and it's just that question of who will have the better contest. Out on the other wing, it is Jake Henry, and then the youngster, well, not really young, but he's young to the URC. Of course, he was playing for the Hurricanes for quite some time. It is Wes Hoosen starting in at number 15. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you are excited for this contest, as it is only a few moments away. Looking through at the recent form for the Sharks, we talked about it. They got themselves their first win in the United Rugby Championship for quite some time, now ticking it up to 2 wins out of about the 13 games or so that they've played, but they were able to get the win over Ulster. Now, to their credit, they took the opportunity when it arose. It was when Ulster did not quite have their strongest side, but still, it was a great performance from the Sharks, and they will be looking to build on that, work on their chemistry, try and make it 2 from 2 in this leg of the URC. The games prior to that, they were close up against the Stormers. They did struggle up against the Lions, which I think a lot of people found a bit of a surprise. They will be looking for another victory here for Edinburgh. They were defeated by the Stormers. Now, we need to mention Edinburgh in that game did not have their Scottish internationals. The Stormers look stacked, and they are going to be playing up against Ulster a little bit later on tonight, where we get to see exactly how strong they are in the URC. Up to that point, though, Edinburgh having some very close wins, also doing similar in the Europeans Challenge Cup, although suffering that loss to Gloucester will make them a little bit less comfortable moving forward as they are into the round of 16. We have got there, I'm alive somehow, says Pads Blaze. Well, that is always a good start, mate. As long as you are breathing and as long as you can see, you'll enjoy this game of rugby. Even if you can't see, even if you can only hear it, I'm sure you'll have a great time with this game of the URC. And both of these sides, this is of course the first of 3 games taking place between a South African side and an overseas team. Second game is Ospreys versus the Lions. Now, we aren't covering that game on the channel, but we are covering the game between the Stormers and their contest coming up in the near future when they do go head-to-head with Ulster. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Of course, looking through at the benches, this is where some of the impact will be made. We are going to see Kerwin Bosch getting to come off the bench alongside Cameron Wright. Now, I should mention there is no, I think it was Gaita who was out on the wing in the last contest. He was playing number 4 anyway, and he is, unfortunately, number 14, he is not here due to an injury. So he has been taken out. Justa off the bench with Machuno and also Hanru Jacobs. Then Ral Lavaskachny is still there, raring to go as the number 20 for Edinburgh. Got some decent players there. Dave Cherry, he's known as an impact player, to come off the bench to create the impact. And also Shield, Scott and Lang, the replacements in the back line for Edinburgh. In this game, I can breathe, but I'm tired and I don't want to see says Pads Ablaze. Well, if you close your eyes, you will either one, fall asleep, or you will get to, I guess, instead listen to the commentary. Yep, even my type feels the same way, says Pads Blaze there. But yeah, it's been a massive day of rugby. We started with Leinster versus the Bulls in the morning. Then from there, we have covered a total of 4 other games, all Super Rugby. So we have done about 10 hours, and we are still going, and we are ready to go for what will now be our 6th live stream in a row. My eye there, as red as it is, you can tell that we have been up for the big one. We've still got another about 7 hours of being awake. But just for anyone who hasn't already seen the table, once again, the Sharks are in 16th. But they have got a lot of ground that they can make up here, and this is the perfect round to be able to do so. While they're on South African soil, while some of these other sides have already played, it means that the Sharks, if they can boost themselves up, it would be a great position to be in, and they slowly try and catch up with their top 8, which currently we do see every other South African side in. The Lions, they are sitting in 8th. Now, some might wonder, their points differential is better. Why are they in 8th compared to Edinburgh? The reason being they have had less wins throughout the season. That is actually the first tie decider between the sides, and then you go on to whoever's got the better points differential. So for the Lions, the big one here is they need to keep on racking up wins, and they want to do that exact same thing up against the Ospreys in their game, which is only a couple of hours away. But at the top of the bunch, Leinster, they extended their lead after getting themselves the win over the Bulls more recently in the URC. That was a game we covered this morning. The Bulls were ahead at half-time, and then Leinster in the second half, 35 unanswered points. Makes it very hard to beat them at the RDS. And even my typing feels the same way. Says that Pads Ablaze in there as well, but this game just around the corner, like I mentioned. Hello Hamish, let's go the Sharks, says Brian. And that's the thing, I feel like the Sharks have found a little bit of a newfound lease on life in terms of not just the team, but also the supporters. They've got something to cheer about. They've seen a win coming for the Sharks. They've had to wait so patiently because on paper, this is an outstanding team. You look through at their side, Ebenetzabeth, Bongyumbanumbi, you got Lukanyawan, Makazole Mapimpi. There are Springboks everywhere. But in terms of results, even with those players being available, they haven't been able to put it together. To be honest, this front row, that is something we could even see the Springboks use, depending on what they decide to do for the upcoming matches. Oxnard, one of the standouts of the World Cup. Vincent Koch, going to be there at number 3. And then, like I mentioned, a couple other future Springboks in the mix, whether that is going to be Pepsi Buthelezi. Of course, he did extremely well for the Bok under-20 side. He's got the captaincy material. I don't see him as a captain for the Springboks too soon in the future, but perhaps 5 years down the line, he may be that guy that they do look towards. But Vern the Clock, a man who's always been pretty unlucky in terms of missing out on selection, even when he's been in some of his best form. Of course, he had a bit of a stint in the sevens where he did find success. Oh, okay, I've just talked up Vincent Koch, and young Rue Jacobs is actually moving into the starting lineup due to an injury of Vincent Koch. So I guess we take him out. You've still got about 5 Springboks in this lineup here for the Sharks. Then we look through at Edinburgh. They have, of course, got a much different lineup to what they had last week. They have got most, if not all, of their Scottish internationals back from the Six Nations, which sees the inclusion of Ben Healy, Duan van der Merwe, Richie, Watson, Skinner, Hodgson, all sorts of names coming in there, ready to go. Pierre Schoolman in the front row, though. Him going head-to-head with Jan Rue Jacobs. That is going to be one to watch out for, as well as WP now going up against the Ox for these 2 front rows. But looking quickly at what is to come for these 2 sides as well. Of course, after this contest, they have got their round of 16 in the Europeans Challenge Cup. Edinburgh have got their contest up against Bayern. Then they've got the week off. Then they face the Scarlets, Cardiff, Zebre, and Munster, all in that order. For the Sharks, they have to go head-to-head with Zebre in the last round of the Europeans Challenge Cup, the last of 16, that is. Then they have the week off. They face Glasgow, Scarlets, Benetton, and Cardiff. 2 home, 2 away for the Sharks. And they honestly need 3 out of 4 of those wins. I think that game up against Glasgow may be a very challenging one, but these other 3 are more than winnable for the Sharks. And in fact, even that Glasgow game to a certain extent, if the Sharks play like people think that they should be able to, and like they have the abilities to be able to play, I would say that they could walk away 4 from 4 over the next 4 weeks of the URC, and that is very optimistic. definitely for a side that, like I mentioned, currently sit in at 16th. We have got the agree. Need a new lease on life. Sharks are better than what the table says after Harrison. Exactly right. Like, they've got all the talent in the world. We look at who they have signed for next year. Andre Esterhuizen is going to be heading to the Sharks. Trevor Nakanye, Jason Jenkins. Like, you can't get more stacked than they are. It's just unfortunately on the board and in terms of results, they've missed out narrowly multiple times. Like the fact, I'm just going to show it again for the table as the Sharks make their way out of the tunnel here. The fact that they have won 2 games, right? Theoretically, that is maximum 10 points. They have still had 4 losing bonus points, which means they've been within 7 or they've scored enough tries to be in the possibility of winning a contest. Like, their points differential compared to all these sides is much better. They've been able to put points on the board. They've been able to stop their opposition from scoring the tries. It just hurts them in terms of that full-time whistle result. And mate, what does the head-to-head look like? Says Katzenell. In terms of, like, between these two sides, the Sharks actually do come in as favourites, if that is the question. I think it's more of in past performances between the teams. We haven't seen these two sides play off too often, but I believe the Sharks have got one and Edinburgh have got one, I want to say. Might be the case at the moment in the head-to-head. But we are almost ready to go for this contest. It's going to be Cross as the referee in charge of this one. And it looks like it's going to be Ben Healy kicking off this one for Edinburgh. They are going to receive kickoff in the second half, but for this one, they do have to kick it off early and give the ball to the Sharks. Now, that back 3 for the Sharks, I think, is definitely going to be one to watch out for. Apalele Fasi Vernekoch, as well as Makazole Mapimpi. They need to try and run that ball back, as if they get plenty of position early and plenty of territory early, I think that will put Edinburgh, with the players returning, under immense pressure, and it may create opportunities. But now Ben Healy kicking off from left to right in Durban. We are ready to go for another match of the URC, and it is kicked off high, contest the ball, and not taken cleanly by the Sharks. Already we see it in the hands of Jamie Ritchie. Edinburgh getting the exact start to this match that they would have been after, retaining their own kickoff, and now Vellacott going back across to Jamie Hodgson. Short side, Vellacott, quick cans. Healy got it out wide to Jake Henry, but he does put it into touch, and it will now be the line out for the Sharks. But already Edinburgh showing some good attacking intent, wanting to make sure that they get the points on the board early. What do you think of the Bulls game yesterday? I feel the TMO destroyed the game. Bulls didn't seem to want to play afterwards. I feel very bad TMO interference, says Arthur. I think that it was a bit of a rough one in terms of the amount that we saw. Like, pretty much every single thing was reviewed and did end up going for the TMO. I was still a little bit confused about that Luke McGrath head high on Kurtley Aronsa in the regards of it being a yellow card, but he did not receive a penalty restart on the halfway line for the Bulls, seeing as in the Crusaders game just prior to that we had actually seen the law interpreted in a different way when we actually saw the penalty restart awarded. So there were a lot of indiscrepancies and also I guess you could say, inconsistencies in the way that that game was refereed compared to some of the others that we've seen in the URC. But this ball about to be fed in. In fact, they don't even have to because they get themselves the early penalty there. The Sharks, front row for Edinburgh going down. I think that's WP now. He's been penalised there. Just the thought of going head there with Oxnachet has put him on his knees. That sounds a bit dodgy. I didn't mean for it to. There was a red and a penalty restart. So here's Arthur Harrison. And now Masuku will be kicking this one into the touchline. I should mention we are very sleep deprived, so some of the sentences haven't quite hit the brain before I say them. Hence that WP now scenario. Of course, a huge amount of experience for him, over 200 caps for club rugby. Or franchise rugby, I should say. Now Bongi Manumbi to throw this one in here for the Sharks. Nicely taken by, I almost said Ruben van Heeren, but it is Emil van Heeren playing in this contest. Rolling forward quite nicely here. They've been told to use it once though, although it is still marching. Some good intent and some good aggression being shown by the Sharks forwards to make those few extra metres. I see Eben Etzebeth has got the ball in hand at the back of this rolling maul. It has already made 15 metres. They were told to use it. So Hendricks fires it out the back. It seems like the frame rate of the camera for this game is a little bit off. I don't know whether or not that's just the coverage here in New Zealand or in general. Nice kick of mine from Bongi and Manambi. Cleaned up near the touchline from Jake Henry. Does have a lot of pressure on him, including Werner Koch, who makes a good tackle. Tries to be a bit of a nuisance in the breakdown, but they have to make sure that they start this match quick as well, the Sharks. We know that Edinburgh want to get that try on the board early, give themselves that early confidence. Whereas the Sharks, coming off a win, they want to continue that momentum. And I feel like the side that they've put out on the field, they have got more than the capabilities of pulling off what is considered as, I would still call it an upset. Now, they come into this game as favourite, the Sharks, but Edinburgh are 6th, the Sharks are 16th. The fact that a side that is ranked 16th is a favourite, even with home field advantage, just shows you how much people expect of the Sharks side and how capable they are of getting wins over the top teams. It's just that they haven't quite been able to as of yet this season, but now the rolling maul once again is going to be in play. Bongyum Banambi moving up to the 22-metre line. Now offloads it up to Jaden Hendrickse. Going across to Francois Fenta. Good run forward from Pepsi Buthelezi, who receives the pop pass up. Now Masuku goes with the inside ball to Eben Etzebeth. Maul is there. Back across to Pepsi Buthelezi. I feel like he's going to be a hard man to stop throughout this game. I couldn't sleep last night. Says TikTok memes. Was that because of all the rugby on or just in general? That is a big drive there. That looks like he's been carried over the line. Now, it's going to be held up. Probably makes it a little bit easier for the referee because that was one of those scenarios how I believe Edinburgh were almost dragging Apalele Fassi towards the try line and then they dragged him too far. Does end up being a goal line dropout though in favour of Edinburgh as Ben Healy playing. He is indeed. He is starting at 10 for Edinburgh in this contest. So, big opportunity for him. Trying to get a win in South Africa. Of course, a lot of these guys were actually watching the game last week. Watching their side up against the Stormers. And they just didn't quite gel, I would say, for Edinburgh. Too many mistakes led to the opportunities. Looks like Ben Healy going to go for the goal line dropout. He's actually going to goal line drop out it from... Looked like he was going to go in front of his line, but he does actually take it back to then drop kick it high, and it's beautifully taken by Van Heeren under the high ball. Back across, here comes Eben Etzebeth. Trying to power his way through, although he's fallen the wrong way. And Edinburgh, they end up getting themselves the penalty. Umbanambi, of course, straight away will go over to the referee to have a little bit of a chat. Eben Etzebeth, looks like him and Jamie Ritchie were just exchanging a few words as well. Sharks not happy with that penalty against them. But Edinburgh, they managed to survive just inside of their 22 and now have the kick downfield to relieve that pressure. 6 minutes into the contest already. Ben Healy has put that one into touch. Nicely done. And is this Edinburgh's match on TV in Ireland? I have no idea, Connor. I am in New Zealand. So I could not tell you. I know that the Irish games, I believe, are on TV in Ireland. So the likes of the Stormers versus Ulster game later on, I believe, will be an option to be able to watch. But yeah, I'm not too sure about this game, seeing as there's no Irish team involved in it. Now offloaded back for Edinburgh. Slamming tackle made on Jake Henry. Gets his offload away to Jamie Ritchie. Dragged down on the halfway line by Umbanambi. This is sounding like we're commentating the Rugby World Cup all over again. Duan van der Merwe trying to drive down that wing. Now passed out wide. Of course, that was the opening game for these two sides in the Rugby World Cup, with South Africa taking on the Scottish. And besides World Cups and Lions Tour, South Africa is just not very consistent. CS:GO story, bro. Although, like, that's the thing. I've seen it mentioned so much over the last maybe, well, to be honest, over the last about 10 months. And I'm curious for your guys' take on it, I guess, as well. People always complain that South Africa aren't consistent in between World Cups. But then if you're still winning the big one, you know, like, it's an interesting one. Would you rather be consistent outside of a World Cup window and then lose the World Cup? Or would you rather be inconsistent outside of the World Cup window, find what's going to work, and then win that World Cup 2 years or 2 times in a row? It's a very tricky scenario to be in because, of course, everyone wants to see a side win consistently year after year after year. But you know, you still got to look at them as two-time world champs in a row for the South Africans, the most successful side in terms of World Cups. We want both. Is that just being greedy, though? You know, of course, you love to see wins week in, week out, but at the same time, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity of taking home a World Cup and putting it in the cabinet. Are you doing the Munster match today versus Cardiff? We are not. No, Sharks take some time to fire on all cylinders, says Barry. Yeah, the longest that they could stay at 0-0 here, the better. The Bulls can't win all the games. They still did not lose any games at Loftus, says Outlaw. And also rather win the World Cup than be playing consistently like Ireland, says Brian. Yeah, I guess they are one of the perfect examples of having a massive winning streak heading into that World Cup and continuing it right through to the quarters, but then one game is all it takes. And unfortunately in playoff rugby, as soon as you get to that stage, one match makes the difference. Tournament champions, not world champions, says Scott Miller in there as well. Although they are currently ranked world number 1 as well, aren't they? The South Africans. So I guess you've got to ask the question of what makes world champions. And like in the Rugby World Cup, that is of course consisting of the world in terms of the strongest sides. But yeah, I'm curious to know how the 2027 one goes. Of course, going to be taking place in Australia. Also a British and Irish Lions tour coming up in Australia as well. Going to be thrown in by Ewan Ashman inside of the 22. Now back across to Viliami Mata. An aggressive run forward from that man. We are yet to see a try and we are yet to see a point throughout the first 10 minutes of this contest. Ben Healy kicking it downfield and does put it into touch. The crowd take a good catch. It means that they weren't going to be able to take that one quickly there for South Africa. Or for the Sharks, I should say. We've been talking about international teams for a while there. I almost accidentally called them the Springboks. Werner Koch, just a workhorse out on that wing. Anytime he's brought into the side, you know he's going to give you a 9 out of 10, or at least going to give you the effort of a player looking for a 10 out of 10. It only takes one game to pull the wool over an opponent's eyes. They will meet again, but then it counts, says Arthur. And also, what match are you doing next? The next game that we are going to be doing on the channel is Stormers versus Ulster. That is the next game that we have got in a couple hours' time, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Nice run down the wing from Jake Henry. That one's going to be kicking off at 6:15, but we are starting at 6 a.m. New Zealand time. So that is in 3 hours and 35 minutes time. And we're basically saying we never took off in Super Rugby compared to the Crusaders, for example. Whatever the Crusaders are is just not something we can produce at club level. Says Cool Story Bro, do you drink coffee? I do not know. I've never tried coffee in my life. Also, I've never tried tea, which people do doubt because I stay up through all hours of the night doing these live streams. Nicely run for from Velicott. Tried the sniping run. Don't think there was initial release from James Venter. And how many Sharks doing? Going on late. Or got on late. $500 to win, 175, says David. At the moment, they are sitting 0-0, so they're not doing too badly. At this stage, some would argue. Now Velicott back into the pocket to Ben Healy, who once again will put it up high. And Werner Koch slaps it back, sits up with Jaden Hendrickse. He is under all sorts of pressure, gets it away to Vincent Chichuka, who decides to go for a kick of his own, and he's managed to get the ball to sit up for him. Another offload to Apalele Fassi. One more offload back to Chichuka, but it's going to be the knock-on from the Sharks. But that was an explosive play, and almost a counter-attack from inside of their own 22 from some brilliance of Vincent Chichuka. It almost led to the chance to score. That's how cool Hamish was at school. He smoked cigarettes on the wing, though. Says Cool Story Bro. I also did not do that. No, I didn't play much rugby during school. I actually refereed a lot of games. Fun fact. But that was just because I felt like from watching certain players, like I was just like, this is just a recipe for a concussion. And there were a lot of head knocks throughout our high school rugby. Like one guy got his arm completely snapped in half. That was unfortunate for him. And damn knock on, says David Rain. But yeah, I got decent at the refereeing side of things. Definitely would not take up refereeing as a profession though, because who would want that job? All you get is abused by literally everyone. And it's a very, what's it called? It's a very, I can't think of the term, but like a something job that pretty much you don't get much recollection. You don't get any sort of like praise from people. It's just more, you just end up doing it for the sake of doing it. Now scrum feed this time for Edinburgh after the knock-on. Already 12 minutes through this contest. You're a damn good commentator, says David Rain. Appreciate it, David. Didn't shave my beard though, did I? Thankless, that's the one, the thankless job. 12.5 in. Edinburgh now once again have got themselves the scrum feed in. How's it, Hamish brother? Says Bertie V. Doing very well, mate. Hope you are also keeping well. Edinburgh, another opportunity here to get a scrum going. And Vellicott about to feed it in, and thankless job. Says Barry, and also our Bulls got a lesson last night out, says Bertie V. The worst thing for the Bulls was they were ahead at half time. And they were doing a lot of things right. And then that second half hit and something just didn't gel or something didn't click. Leinster got some momentum and just went try after try after try. But the Bulls are still in second. And I mean, looking at the URC history of the first 2 years of the competition, there is a chance that Leinster don't even make it through to that final. Now, the benefit that the Bulls have is they have at least made it to one of those finals. There is a knock-on this time going against Edinburgh. Yeah, it was horrible. Says Bertie V and $50 US to go clean shaven. Says David Ram, I'm at the match live, says Etsy. And yes, hopefully you are enjoying it. How many are in the crowd, Etsy, if you can hear me? If not, then I'll give you a thumbs up instead. But yeah, I'll be curious. I feel like it's a decent enough crowd for this game. The Sharks, I feel like because they won their last game, they've probably got a few more people who have decided to come down, give them some support, which is exactly what they need at this stage. And going Edinburgh by 4, says a Bertie V. And there as well. Yeah, like a side that's been struggling for form, all you want as a player on that side is to just see some people in the stands cheering you on and just hoping that you're going to turn your season around, because those are the type of people that you see at the end of the season and go, you were there when hardly anyone else was. The Vellicott takes it off the back of the Sharks scrum. It is going to be the penalty to the Sharks here. I think it's Handro Jacobs who once again wins himself another penalty and going head there with Pierre Scorman. And Oxness, yeah, not exactly putting in a light shove off those scrums. Yeah, just popping up in the front row there for Pierre Scorman. Handro Jacobs, of course, a late inclusion into the side for the Sharks rather than Vincent Koch, who was supposed to start this game, but I believe did end up with an injury. So I meant that he was a late change, and Handro Jacobs does come into the team. Looks like Masuku's going to be lining up this kick from about 45 metres out. Good opportunity for the Sharks to take a lead here early after just the first 15 minutes. I've got Sharks to win outright. And hi guys, don't forget to smash that like button if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Cheers, BTV. Like you said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 50,000, and we are also going to be covering the game between the Stormers and Ulster, which is only just around the corner. In between those two games, there is a match between Lions and Ospreys, but we aren't covering that one on the channel. We are coming back, though, for the Stormers game. And that one is missed away to the side for Masuku, so hasn't added the early 3 points. Looks frustrated about it as well. Had the distance, just not quite the accuracy that he was after. We are 16 minutes into this contest at the moment. We are yet to see a try scorer in this matchup. But is that about to change? Can the Sharks or can Edinburgh be the side to counter it? There's going to be a Sharks line-out throw here. Bongyumbanambi getting ready to launch it in. Goes in nicely claimed by Van Heeren. Rolling maul. Looking relatively well set again here for the Sharks. That is 3 from 3 that they have managed to start getting moving in the right direction. Pierre Scorman tried to stop it. I think that one is still going to be marching for the Sharks, although now it pops out the back for Jaden Hendricks. A big run forward from Finta in the midfield. Hendricks to the short side off to Oxness. There's an advantage for offside, and Umbanambi crashes it into the 22. Good match, Reds versus Brumbies. Well, says Bertie V. It was extremely close going down to the wire, that one. And also up the castle, says Matthew. Nice run from Pepsi. Buthelezi. Ashman gets him round the bootlaces. Now again, Hendrickse goes across to Musuku, trying to find that sniping run that can create the clean break and give the Sharks a good opportunity to add to their try-scoring tally for this URC season. Francois Finta in behind to Apalele Fassi, accelerating ball on the inside. Vincent Tachuka has put it down again, but it is going back for the original advantage. Let's go Hamish, or let's go Sharks. I need some more Hamish shaving money, says David in there as well. Although by the sounds of it, if I don't shave, I don't get any money, no matter how good the tips are that I give you. But 18 minutes into the contest, Masuku will kick this one for the corner, and they have decided that they want to try and go for the rolling maul here for the Sharks. Could be a very good play. We're still early on in the contest, so it gives them another opportunity of trying to convert the early pressure into points. This is exactly what they will be after here. But the big question, I think, is going to be, will they go with Bongi or Manambi off the back of this rolling maul? And the answer to that is yes. Edinburgh trying to defend it. It's gone down just short of the try line now, and Edinburgh get the turnover. That is fantastic work in the breakdown. The turnover is now good. I wonder what that means for the Sharks. Do they continue looking to attack in that same sort of fashion, or do they instead go for the three-pointers when they're available? They're actually a little bit stuck both ways, because they missed the conversion, and then alongside that they also, missed the penalty, and then they also missed the opportunity of kicking for the corner and scoring a try off that. So they tried both ways, neither of which have worked at this point. The question is, what is next here for the Sharks side? So far, scrum penalties, we have seen 2-1 by Edinburgh compared to the one of the Sharks. Ben Velicott about to put this ball in. They're only 5 metres out from their own line. Looks like it's gone up in the front rows. I think that's been called as a free kick for Edinburgh, which does now mean that they will be able to kick this one downfield. Commentator has just said it was a lucky escape for Edinburgh in his South African accent, but does allow some pressure to be reprieved. Be kicked downfield. Of course, something South African that I should mention about. Of course, we have seen the release of Chasing the Sun Season 2, I believe it is called, or at least Chasing the Sun 2. Has anyone seen it? And what do they think of it? I haven't actually watched it as of yet. I know that there's some pretty intense moments throughout it, one of which that got highlighted was that one between Rassie Erasmus and the Springboks at halftime in their World Cup. I think it was their semi-final, or it might have been the quarter-final, in fact. And there were some choice words being exchanged. I watch the rugby, so DSTV, I think it is your best option. I think it's freaking awesome. Says Birdie V, do you think we'll ever get a movie about cricket? I feel like we have in the past. That test series on Amazon Prime is actually a very good one. And it's based around the Australian side and showing how they succeeded throughout the last kind of 24, 36 months and fire the backline Sharks. Says Andrew Warren. First episode is amazing, says Andrew there. And also we get their money talks and shit is walk. Keep your facial hair, Hamish, not worth it, says Johan. Well, like I said, without a mustache, I look extremely strange. Big run forward from Apalele Fassi, showing pure pace and electric athleticism, and he scores the try for the Sharks on the counter-attack. And Rassi doesn't take kick, says Andrew. Yeah, if he's going to be a kind of guy that if you've annoyed him, he's going to say it to your face, and he's going to tell you it in the most bluntest way that he can. We can listen rugby. Says Jacques, so yeah, DSTV is your best option, but that is a brilliant try from Apalele Fassi to be able to break through from what almost looked like a nothing situation. He was just on the halfway line, and Edinburgh, no one able to touch him. Little half touch there from the Edinburgh fullback. In fact, I think it was Ben Healy, and told you, says Andrew. And there as well, but great work from Apalele Fassi. The one Funamurva got kicked in the face just for his troubles. Now Musuku, I think that they were going to try and do a charge down there, Edinburgh. One player was running forward. Now, deep breath for the Sharks, who have taken the lead early in this contest. It has been flying by, already 22 minutes down on the clock. And Masuku now does successfully convert, making the score at 7-0. And chick, chick, boom, says Arthur Harrison there. And also, I'm not BSing. I want to see Babyface Hamish, $50 says David Rain. That's the thing though. I know that it will take at least a couple weeks for it to grow back to the point of me not disliking it. So like that's $50 for 2 weeks, which does seem a bit rough. Like the haircut that I have at the moment, the barber absolutely butchered it back here. I said to him, I've got a wedding to go to, so you know, I need it to look relatively tidy. The bloke shaved a part off the back. I had to try and hide it with a hat for some of the wedding, and then the other part I tried to just push that hair over the top of it. It's still not great, but yeah, hopefully it fixes itself. My dad always says there's only 2 weeks between a good haircut and a bad haircut, and at the moment it's been about a month, and it's still not looking the best. Now, ball's available for Jaden Hendrickse off to Vincent Tuchuka. A couple of good runs so far, Vincent Tuchuka, including a kick as well. And now this is the Sharks of old, says Barry Turnbull. And yeah, it's the kind of Sharks performances that everyone knows that they've had in them. They just haven't been able to quite get it right. But nice run forward from Johan Hussen. In fact, sorry, that is Wes Hussen with the ball there. Velikot goes across Jamie Ritchie. Ball back in position for Edinburgh, about 30 metres out from their own line. And Velikot has been able to put this ball high once more. And either side have been looking too shabby under the high ball. That one has gone into touch, so it is actually out on the full from Ben Velikot. He is not happy with Eben Etzebeth as he ran through, much better with Masuku. Sharks have always needed a flat attacking fly half, and like, I'll be honest, Kerwin Bosch, don't get me wrong, fantastic player, but he doesn't offer that same type of attacking that we are seeing from Masuku. And I feel like Masuku is one of those players who it has taken him a little bit of time to find his rhythm. Will you help me either or win 1,450 earlier, and now I can pick up another 175 if the Sharks hold on. How about $60 to go clean shaven? So that sounds like you've made almost $1,500 from my predictions, and you're offering me 60 to shave my face. That seems a bit brutal, David. I mean, 60 to be fair, with a normal looking face, that would be a decent deal, but yeah, without the mustache, I just look really strange. Like, because I'm very pale as well, so it doesn't really work without having some sort of facial hair. James Fenter off the back there, nice attack and run, goes straight at Hamish Watson. Hendrickse goes across to Pepsi Buthelezi. To the right hand side again, Masuku. Not able to get that offload away. A short ball to James Fenter. Hendrickse again, back across to the Ox. Good low tackle made on him by WP. Now have to tie up those bootlaces early. Lukanyuam, ball in mind. And that's going down. That's separate from the... Oh, that's separate from the... Vig. From the Vig. What word's that? Vig. I'm trying to think of what it's corrected from. The vid I'm sending? Maybe? Handling error is sitting 3 at the moment for the Sharks compared to the 2 of Edinburgh. Now 7-0 at the moment after 26 minutes. So Lucanio, I'm just having a bit of a chat there with the referee as well, just making sure they were on the same page. Looks like we are almost going to have a drinks break here for these two sides. It looks like they have played a frantic pace throughout the start of this contest, so both sides just getting in a huddle. Well, we will go like this. And like this, they are still considered heavy favourites at the moment, the Sharks, even though they did come in as slight underdogs for the original odds. If David sends you something, it can only be dollars, says Arthur. I was about to make a compromise, David, which was I was going to show you a picture of me with just a mustache and a clean shaven face from about 5 years ago that picture was taken, and I looked like a serial killer. That was going to be my negotiation. I feel like that is almost a take it or leave it deal. That one's gone down in the front row. That's just not a good picture. I wasn't even smiling in it. 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Need your feet underneath and your arm up, says the referee there. It seems like scrum time has been a little bit shaky at times, but that is what you're going to have to deal with when there are two massive front rows. It is a terrifying photo. I've just found one of him without a mustache. And just throw away, Amos, just throw away your razor, says Ilmar. Let's see, said David. It's not good. It's going to be the free kick now for Edinburgh. Maybe at halftime. 7 points to 0 is still how it sits, but Edinburgh getting themselves another free kick. And not Jeffrey Dahmer. It literally does look like the shot that they show at the start where it's a mug shot before they say this guy's like done some really bad things. Kick downfield from Ben Healy to the 22, Upper Lily Fussy. Looking to run it back now for the Sharks. Manages to carve his way straight through, jumps up for it, wasn't able to take it cleanly. But now Jaden Hendrickson gets it away to Pepsi Buthelezi. And the Sharks are doing extremely well in terms of keeping this ball in the field of play and keeping the play flowing. Masuku tries the cross kick, puts it in behind. It's going to be bouncing awkwardly. Sits up for the Sharks. And now offload coming. Makazole Mapimpi tried to give it off to Fenta, who wasn't actually ready for it. Did drop his head because he was joining that breakdown. Now rolling this one back. Across to Ben Healy. Does get the kick away, although it will only be about 10 metres out from the line. Because of that, it means that the Sharks are in an ideal position. Heard the try here, crowd's happy. Says, cool story, bro. That's the thing, Bongi Manambi, that rolling ball try could be coming just around the corner for the Sharks. If, of course, they can get it right here. Just saying that clean out, Makazole Mapimpi actually wasn't, or at least James Fenta wasn't in a position to receive that offload. And that one's not straight from the Sharks. That's going to hurt them. Manambi was possibly taken off the ball. And afternoon, Hamish in the chat says a Jimbo. Manambi may be staying down now with a little bit of a knee injury. Ewan Ashman got the shot in on him. And we've got the afternoon Jimbo, says Andrew Warren. And then I got some friends coming over, so I have to get the braai ready. Are you doing your garlic and cheese roll things, Bertie, again? Because every time you mention those, it makes me want garlic and cheese roll thingies that they don't actually have here really in New Zealand. Like, we have cheesy garlic bread, but I feel like it's different when it's on the braai. I feel like a lot of you guys from South Africa would agree that when it's done on the braai, it just tastes better. 30 minutes in. Just the injury stoppage of Bongi Manambi here, 100%, says Birdie V. Just showing Vern the clock. A lot has been happening out on his wing, but he hasn't actually touched the ball a huge amount. Most of the time has actually been Umbanambi who's found himself out on that wing. It's like they are just having a little bit of a stoppage. Now, it's back up to his feet here on Manambi. they should be able to continue in this contest. But a great start to the match for the Sharks. Exactly what they needed to do up against an Edinburgh side who were looking for redemption after being defeated by the Stormers last week. They wanted a big performance. They haven't quite been able to put it together as of yet. Just a few too many handling errors has caused them to not even really be inside of the Sharks half. But some nice work from Apelele Fassi as well to help get the Sharks into the lead for this matchup. But it is going to be the scrum feed for Edinburgh inside of their 22. And good morning from Paradise, Bogota in Colombia, says Neil Harvey. Hamish, do you know that a weatherman named Ben Noel? I do not know. Are they a New Zealand weatherman? Going to make me a cheese toasty. Sounds alright. Enjoy a cheese toasty every once in a while. Cheese and ham, it's a good combination too. That's going to be the penalty going the way of the Sharks at scrum time. Now Jaden Hendrickse trying to push his way through. He does take the quick tap. Now that is quite a risky tactic there from the number 9. With how long it took him to be able to take that tap, he still was willing to take the risk. Oxnishare, he's close, but he's turned over on his back and it's held up. So it will now be the goal line dropout. Umbanambi's not happy. He feels like maybe they should have either taken the 3 or gone for the corner there. Food always pops up. Says Arthur, and let's go, says Andrew Warren. And have Benetton and Connacht on TV. Benetton 10 up and dominating. Says Jimbo. Tell you what, Benetton look like a whole different beast this year compared to what we saw for last year. Like they're a top contender in the URC, it would seem. Now Ben Healy going to be kicking this one off high from the goal line dropout. So it drifts towards the touchline, beautifully taken by Emil van Heeren. Now Jaden Hendrickse goes across to Ebenezer again. Hendrickse on the outside. Vincent Tichuka, he's dropped the ball again. It's about his 3rd handling error in this first half. Now he's had some very good moments, but he's also dropped it just way too often. Big fend from Ben Healy on Masuku. Goes for the chip in behind of his own. Couldn't quite line it up, and there is actually a knock on there from the Sharks. Actually from Jaden Hendrickse. I think he's complaining that he may have been kicked by Ben Healy. And they are attracting bigger names with Italy doing so well. Says Jimbo, yeah, like when reading through their squad, like they got some top guys. And even when it comes to their internationals, like I know that Malakai Fekitoa is playing for them. I think they've got a couple Argentines scattered throughout their team as well. Looks like Vincent Tichuka has stayed down after his last knock on. It might actually be some sort of knee injury here for him. I think he got bent in an awkward way when he was landing, and he does not look happy at the moment. Vincent Tichuka. Like I mentioned, he's had a bit of a mixed start to this game. He's dropped the ball 3 times, but he almost set up a try for his side off a kick from inside of his own 22. And the name is Robin, and Rassi is Batman. Says, cool story, bro. They are just showing the replay here of Oxnishare getting held up. Maybe the commentators are trying to say it should have been a penalty to the Sharks from that ball being stolen just out from the line. And I found a butcher here that makes jalapeno, garlic, and cheese borrowers. I always say that wrong, don't I? Or sausage. That sounds very nice. Although jalapenos, like, I'm not the best with spice. Like, I find sweet chili sauce spicy, which people always laugh at me for because they're like, that's just not spicy at all. But like those sound all right. And Batman with a light sprinkle of a penguin, says Andrew there. 33 minutes in. It's going to be another Edinburgh scrum. We've seen quite a few, but we haven't seen many scrums actually successfully completed throughout this matchup. Most of the time, it's either the penalty to the Sharks or a free kick to Edinburgh. We haven't seen too much of the in-between of the ball actually getting played. Just showing Makazole Mapimpi ranked 67th. Put 250 on Connacht, says Toxic Vish. I mean, they're 10-0 down. That's probably a bold call. Are they at least at home for that game, or are they away? I think they're away, so that's probably more bold. They are just showing here from Vincent Tichuka with what actually caused that injury. Oh, unfortunately, it's just the way that Viliame Mata fell onto Vincent Tichuka's leg. Just ended up crushing it. And maybe true, Andrew. Says cool story, bro, there as well. Benetton at 10 and Conrad at 7. Okay, well, they're coming back into the contest then, if that is the case. But yeah, just an injury stoppage here for Vincent Tachuka. Looks like he is back up to his feet. Question is he going to continue this match? And the answer is yes. We have seen 6 handling errors from the Sharks compared to the Edinburgh 3, but territory-wise, the Sharks have played pretty much this whole first half inside of Edinburgh's half. And that has really helped them big time in terms of keeping Edinburgh from scoring, as well as every once in a while creating that opportunity for themselves. Ball is fed in by Ben Vellacott. Can we get a successful scrum? Yes, we can. It's come out the back door, and now Vellacott is going to kick this one downfield. Found a bit of open space, but waiting back there was Apelele Fassi. Ball bouncing awkwardly, but he cleans it up and puts it towards the touchline on his left boot. Kept in the field of play from Ben Healy. Tried to beat Apelele Fassi one-on-one. Does not find success. Now Wes Hulsen. No space to work with. And he's been forced into touch by the Sharks. And Locke scored for Conrad. I'm always surprised how fast modern Locks can run. And he should have put it on the Sharks. Says Toxic. And also, you're backing in this match. Says Christo. My original prediction is that the Sharks are going to win. Now, that is, of course, before the fact that they scored themselves the try in this game. I just feel like after what we saw last week in their game up against Ulster, they're starting to get on the right track, which is exactly what we want to see at this stage of the competition, because it's pretty much do or die now for the Sharks. They almost need to win every single one of their games, and they may still not make it into the top 8. So they have to have a little bit of luck on their side, but at the same time, you know, as long as they keep on putting wins together, they should be somewhere up there. They've got a lot of points to make up. The top 8 are currently sitting on 34. The Sharks are sitting on 14. So they have 5 or 4 games with a bonus point to get back to where number 8 was. And then, of course, depending on where number 8 is at that time, could end up being up to about 40 points by the time they catch up. Apelele Fassi putting the boot downfield, and it's nicely taken by Wes Hulsen. Got bent awkwardly in the way that he fell down. Edinburgh now looking to use their back line. It's going to be Chris Dean, goes on the outside. Duan van der Merwe gets his offload away. Space opening up. Edinburgh's best chance of the half to be able to score points on the board. Matthew Curry tackled by Vernaclock inside of the 22. Now Vellacott going back across flat run there from the big man Jamie Hodgson. Kanyuam trying to get the turnover, but doesn't quite get it the way that he would have liked. Pierre Schoolman now hits the ball up. Vellacott, I believe they are almost working with a penalty advantage. Yes, they are here. And Edinburgh get the penalty. Now they have a decision to make. 4 minutes remaining in the half. Do you go for 3 points for the sake of getting something on the board in this first half? Or do you go for the corner and try and put 7 on the board rather than just the 3? Hamish does, didn't Wes Hulsen play for the Canes? He did indeed. There's a few guys who have been playing in Super Rugby who have now made their way up to the URC. Like I mentioned, Benetton, they have got Malakai Fekitoa. It's going to be playing for them rather than the old school Highlanders. And Sharks for the win, says Christo on time check. At the moment, it is sitting at 36.5 minutes, and Eben Etzebeth is now down with some sort of abdominal injury. They are icing it at the moment. He's going to be sitting up. I'd assume that it's something along the lines of just a bit of an awkward stretch there for Eben Etzebeth. Yeah, in fact, I think he's almost been crushed by his own teammate there. I think Ox mounted him, or Umbanambi mounted him, and looks like he's going to continue. He was slightly holding his pec there as well. He's walking very gingerly, Eben Etzebeth. The last thing that the Springboks want is to lose him before those July internationals. They are going to take the points on offer here for Edinburgh. And Connacht versus Benetton, we are at the 38th minute, says Richard Holdry. So currently for this game, we are up to 37. So pretty similar. And regarding Eddie Jones and Jake White, most powerful coaching force of all time. Pity it happened only once. Says, cool story, bro. Now ready to convert this one here for Ben Healy. I will mention both of these games of the URC are actually making very good time at the moment. Sometimes we can end up having about a 60-minute first half. This one looks like it's going to be around that 50 minutes, similar to Benetton versus Connacht, which is exactly what you want. Mounted him. That don't sound right. Well, it didn't look right either. He did kind of get right on the back of Ebenezebeth, pushed downwards, and now Evans had his back blown out, or it slightly, yeah, it looked like it was abdominal, and the pec was what was giving him a bit of problems. Ebenezebeth, but it's kicked off line by Masuku, putting plenty of distance on it, deep into Edinburgh territory. Viliami Mata tackled just inside of the 22. So they will be able to kick this one into touch if they want to. Although it looks like, first of all, they're going to try and run this one out from inside of their own 22. Ball put out wide, and now they will go for the kick downfield, looking for the 50-22. Massive space back there, but Apalele Fasi gets a favourable bounce of the ball and does get this one into touch. Once again, though, Edinburgh on attack. We have not seen that throughout the first 35 minutes of this half, and now they are starting to put phases together and starting to put the Sharks under that little bit more pressure here. And the last thing that the Sharks want to do is concede the try late on in this half. Would put them down by at least 1 point going into the second 40 minutes. Now ready to throw this one in for Edinburgh. It sounds like Ebenezebeth is actually... Oh no, he's going to continue here. It looks like he will be probably getting subbed early on in the second half, though, for Ebenezebeth, which is a massive hit for the Sharks. Of course, not having Gerber Rula for this matchup means that they are without their two starting locks. And halftime now, and the Conrad versus Benetton game. So I assume that the score is still 10 points to 7 in favour of Benetton. Loose ball there, claimed by the Sharks, and James Venter, who's had his jersey scragged over his head. Masuku going across Francois Venter. Loose ball, not taken cleanly by Lukanyuan, but they're going back for the original knock-on at halftime. And it'll lead 10 points to 7, and hold tight, Sharks, says David Rains. The original knock-on is against Edinburgh. Does mean that the Sharks have got themselves the scrum feed here. And now just 30 seconds remaining of this first 14-minute period. I think it was Jamie Hodgson who ended up knocking that one on. Didn't actually look like he was initially going to grab the ball, but more so just running, and with that motion, his arm ended up hitting that ball. Like that, and like that, we'll get some stats up for halftime as well, ladies and gentlemen. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have seen 6 handling errors from the Sharks. That is actually the same number, though, as they had a lot earlier on in the half. And Edinburgh have had the 4 handling errors. Both sides has cost them opportunities to be able to score points. We have just heard that siren. The Sharks do feed the ball, and it's actually come out the side, but back into the pocket. Apalele Fasi kicks it into touch. And the score at halftime, 7 points to 3. It is anyone's contest heading forward, ladies and gentlemen. But it's been an entertaining first half that has absolutely flown by. Both sides having some good moments. Edinburgh coming back late, getting themselves those 3 points, and then also close to scoring the try. But the only try that we have seen so far being that of Apalele Fasi. We managed to score it around the 22nd minute. But now we will get some stats to do with this contest. Also, for anyone wondering about the betting odds in this matchup, just with the way that it currently sits, the Sharks are $1.30 favourites compared to $3.50 underdogs Edinburgh. If Sharks win, can we agree on a price for you to shave? Come on, Hamish. Every man has his price. Says David, I'll be honest, I think mine is a lot higher than 60, and I know that that sounds like bigging it up, but yeah, it's not flash. I did find that picture though, so I was willing to make you a trade of some sort of offer that I will show that picture for you rather than actually doing it, because this is an old school picture. This is 2019, and I honestly do not look. Well, to be fair, I look similar, but I just don't look right without the beard. You know, it just looks a little bit dodgy. Now, looking at some of these stats for this contest, it is the lowest scoring of the 2 games that are currently taking place. The stats for this first half, we have seen just the 1 try scored, that being of Apalele Fasi. Okay, so how much? See, I don't know. How much are you offering in terms of the picture? This sounds dodgy, but it is a picture of me with a clean-shaven face, ladies and gentlemen, not a clean-shaven anything else. The possession is 53% in favour of the Sharks. 7 clean breaks compared to the 2 of Edinburgh, and 6 defenders beaten compared to the 5 of Edinburgh as well. Offloads 8 for the Sharks. So pretty much in every single stat, they have had the advantage, except for tackle success. We've actually seen a little bit more tackling success coming from Edinburgh. And then the territory game heavily in favour of the Sharks, sitting with 68%. Just the penalties conceded, 4 from Edinburgh, 2 from the Sharks. And cool story, bro. Says JP, and I also, Hamish, which are your 4 top teams in the Super Rugby. I honestly think by the end of the season, it is going to be the Hurricanes, Blues, Chiefs, and Brumbies, I think will be my top 4. And I actually think that is the current top 4, but I honestly see them staying that way going into, like, in terms of the rankings. I don't guarantee those sides are making it to the semi-finals, though. Another picture I want you to shave today, before the next match. Says David Rain. I don't think I can do that. With that attendance, the match could have been played at the high school. Says JP, and I'm not sure if it's the same for you, Hamish, but the time and clock changes later tonight here in Ireland. I think we are next week. And this is a bad game by 2 bad teams, says Val. So out of curiosity, Val, who is your side? So I assume with the fact that you have used CAC means that you are a South African supporter of some sort. So is it the Bulls, the Stormers, or the Lions? That is your team, Val. Do let me know. And I have Canes, Chiefs, Blues, and Reds. Oh, okay, so just a change in terms of the Reds ahead of the Brumbies for your top 4. Hamish Watson making the most number of tackles throughout this contest. 7 in total. And then 5 made for James Fenter. And 2 turnovers, 1 for Chris Dean. Actually doing very well in that inside centre role. Most metres made have gone to Apalele Fasi, sitting there with his 100 metres made. The most metres gained by an Edinburgh player was actually Matt Curry, who did gain 29. Apalele Fasi also leading in terms of successful carries, points, tries, clean breaks, defenders beaten, and offloads. He has pretty much completely clean swept the board for the Sharks, whereas for Edinburgh, I believe we see about 3 or 4 different players. I just put another 500 on the Sharks. Well, that was a little bit silly, David. You're cutting down on your margins. They do end up losing. And also, we have got there with that attendance, the match could have been played at high school. It looked like they had a decent-ish crowd, though. Like, in terms of in the stands, maybe not as many as they would like to have, but at the end of the day, like, the Sharks are a side that have got potential. They just haven't quite been able to put it together as of yet. But like I mentioned, if they win this game, they actually boost themselves right up to 13th. On the table. They have to slowly try and cut that gap between themselves and the next teams up. So it's a bit of a weird situation because as much as they'll want the Lions to beat the Ospreys, if the Ospreys win, then they actually boost that up and then that makes it harder. So, you know, either way, they're going to be chasing that top 8 a little bit more. And in some regards, I think the Sharks would actually prefer that the Ospreys win so that the Lions don't extend themselves in that top 8. Of course, Connaught or Benetton, they will be receiving 4 or 5 points from their game. The other side may get a losing bonus point or 2. So that is going to boost both of those sides up. It's going to be a big mountain to climb for the Sharks, that is for sure. I'm just around the corner. Sharks win. I'll up the shave over to 100. And 500 on Hamish falling asleep, says Ryan there. And I have to say the Springboks are going to have their hands full with Ireland touring. Ireland have been playing good rugby, says Birdie V. Can I make a deal, David, in terms of doing it next week after the Sevens rather than this week? Just because I think that I've also got a family do this week, and I feel like I don't want to be clean-shaven for that one. But like next weekend, good to go. But just before then, I just remembered maybe not the best time to do it. And good luck, mate, says Birdie V. Of course, the Sharks looking good at halftime, though, scoring the 1 try of this half of Apalele Fasi. Saw that initial kickoff from Edinburgh. They actually got the ball straight away. And thanks, Birdie, says David there as well. But I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you'll being here for this matchup. The next game that we are covering, it will be the match between the Stormers and... There's a massive inflatable T-Rex. Clean shave and wear a fake beard. I mean, it's an idea. I do have a fake beard. It's not a good one though. Like it's a Santa Claus beard rather than a proper beard. I'll think about it. So here's David. Apparently they're playing a bit of Michael Jackson. I heard that Michael Jackson's coming to New Zealand, but not the actual bloke, like a tribute act. He's going to be making his way to New Zealand and Australia. Which I just found interesting, the fact that they can like sell out full tours. But think about this, if you do it today, you have a great story to tell at the family do. Says David Rain. Although I'll also probably have people going, why did you shave? Why are you looking so weird today? Just Photoshop and take his money. Says Arthur Harrison. I mean, I was negotiating. I have a picture loaded up in my live streaming software of me without a beard from about 4 years ago. And I do look like I've taken a mugshot. But, you know, don't think I'll show it just yet. Currently second half. I'd say is only about maybe 5 minutes away, somewhere around there. These halftime breaks in the URC aren't quite as long as the Australian Super Rugby games. Michael Jackson has taken a dirt nap, says David Rain. That is true. Let's see, it says David Rain. If I show it, does that mean I don't have to shave? And so who are the Stormers up against in the next game, says Stefan? That is a brilliant question, Stefan. And the one that is taking place a little bit later on, they are facing Ulster. But in terms of their game after that, they are going head-to-head with La Rochelle in the Champions Cup. So that's a big game. The Bulls around the corner for their Champions Cup. They are taking on Lyon. Both games taking place in South Africa, so home field advantage for them. I'm not actually too sure who they play in the round of 16, though. In fact, I do. I have a picture somewhere, but I can't remember where I put it. We'll have a look for it now and see what we can find. And good morning from Paradise. Bogota in Colombia. No, you still have to shave to get paid, says David there. It's a hard world out there, isn't it? Tough crowd. The Champions Cup. A moment. Oh, that's not how you spell champions. Cut me off about 4 letters. Europeans Champions Cup. They've got the table here somewhere. There it is. So, it's going to be Stormers versus La Rochelle. The winner of that game in the quarterfinals will face the winner of Leicester versus Leinster. So that will be a relatively tough contest. And I believe because Leinster are second ranked in terms of the qualification, it would mean that that game takes place in South Africa, takes place in Ireland. Vodacom Bulls, they will be facing the winner of Northampton Saints and Munster. And depending on who wins that game, will depend on whether the Bulls are at home or away. If they do manage to win there. Are we over there coming, Hamish? Don't you want to get laid? Says David. I mean, we had paid, says David. I was going to say earlier on we had one female in the chat and she said, do not shave your beard or else you've got absolutely no chance of finding a lady friend. On the other side of the draw, though, it is Toulouse and Racing 92. They are going head-to-head. And then Exeter Chiefs and Bath, the other side of that round of 16. And then the Harlequins versus Glasgow, the teams that played off. How much for the iPhone, Hamish? Should shave when you have it enough? Says a Blues name. I mean, an iPhone is like $2,000. So, like, I don't think he's going to be offering that for a shave. He was offering 100 US. So we're a long way off $2,000, that is for sure. My Glasgow Warriors versus Harlequins, and then also Bordeaux versus Saracens. The other side, 4,000 for the iPhone. Not quite. Like I'm not a greedy man. Like you can get a decent iPhone for $2,000 here in New Zealand. They are just showing the highlights of the first half. There weren't too many in terms of tries being scored. Just the one of Epalele Fassi, and also the 3 points being taken by Ben Healy when the penalty was on offer. Now there were couple missed opportunities for the Sharks. They missed a conversion, or they missed a penalty, and also missed the opportunity of going to the corner twice to turn it into tries. I think that is something that will slightly frustrate them. And also over there, Blues had a good win. Nice to see the Crusaders get the win, says Peter Mason. I put up a poll, shave or not, says David Rain. Although it's one of those ones that if people saw what I look like without a beard, they'd probably definitely say no. And that one. you know, it's a bit of a different look in that regard. There you go. That was a little tiny pop-up. If you can freeze on the exact frame that came up on, you've done extremely well. 10K, let's do it. Come on, worthy to shave it. Shave it then. Says the Blues, no. But yeah, without the beard, I just look a bit strange. Even with the beard, I look a bit strange. So I don't want to look more strange. Looking through at the benches for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. Looking quickly at who they have got. Can come off the bench. Justa for the Sharks. Also, Matunu and Hundred. Jacobs actually started this game, so they have got a new option at number 18. Ral and Lavaskachny. Two other players off the bench for the Sharks. And then Cameron White, Kuhn Bosch, and also Hooker there as the last replacement. Then for Edinburgh, they have got Dave Cherry. They've got Fenta. They have also got the option of Sebastian, but they are just about to kick off for the second half, ladies and gentlemen. That being the Sharks. And then Boyle, Sheila, Scott, and Lang, the last men who are there as well. I reckon the Sharks will win it. Ulster aren't firing at all this year, says Brian. Wait, who's playing Ulster? Ulster are playing the Stormers later on. Of course, is the one. Or are you talking the Challenge Cup, maybe? Because, of course, both of those sides are a part of the Challenge Cup next week. A ball is there for Velicott inside of the 22, knocked on by Hamish Watson. So they're picking up from where they left off in their first up. Ball on the outside to Makazole Mapimpi. I see that Ral has made his way onto the field. That is for Eben Itzebeth. I know stomach bug missed it, says David Rain. It was pretty quick. The frame that it did pop up for now. Nice run from Lukanyuam. Passes on the outside to Apalele Fassi. The question mark, of course, is who is going to be that player who breaks through and scores the try here for the Sharks. So Eben Itzebeth got the bang in the ribs, which is why he is not going to be continuing in this contest. Good tackle made on Makazole Mapimpi there. Now back across. Jaden Hendrickse. Into Vincent Tichuka. They've shut him down early. Now Masuku back across to Oxnishay. Ulster fizzling out. Now what about Leinster though? The Bulls lost their balls in Dublin yesterday. And yeah, that's the thing. They started off so well in that game, the Bulls. They managed to be in the lead going into halftime. That is going to be bumped backwards, says the referee. So still in possession of the Sharks with Oxnishay. Tries to go for the wide cutout pass. Not touched by Makazole Mapimpi. So Apalele Fassi drives it towards the try line. Here comes Makazole Mapimpi. Hendrickse asking for the penalty. Does not receive it. I'm looking around for Pepsi Putalese. There he is. He is a player I'm watching out for just 10 metres out from the line. That's almost become a rolling maul there. And Edinburgh have got themselves the turnover. They are inside of their own 22. Looked like they were considering the kicking option, but here comes Duan van der Merwe. Wrestled into touch by Francois Fenta. Let's get the hand up there, Duan van der Merwe from Francois Fenta. He's frustrated as he thought he was going to be able to use his power down the wing. He's got a bit of a chuckle on his face at the moment. He's gone, oh, okay, a few of these guys are pretty tough. The ball, a little bit of a weird one. It kind of got stuck in the ear for that maul or slash the ruck. And then Edinburgh are able to take it back and trying to capitalise on that counter-attack. Bungi Manambi, another line-out throw for him. Been relatively accurate so far throughout this matchup. Hasn't made too many errors. And that is now going to be another penalty to the Sharks. Now, if they take this, they will have a lead by the 7 points, but at the same time, like, they need 4 tries in this game. They need bonus points at any opportunity. How Edinburgh are doing in this one? They struggled quite a bit, dropping the ball more often than not. Bulls look good in the first half, but Leinster turned it on in the second. So here's Anthony Walsh. The one's going to be kicked in touch by Masuku and Al Tunisia. They rigged the match. Oh, White should have won, said Dog Battery. And Isaiah Bryan says Jimbo there as well. But currently 43 minutes through. Edinburgh, they have only had about 35% of the territory in this game as well, which has not helped them one bit. Manambi gets it in, it's gone over the top, claimed by Ewan Ashman. Now looks to the offload, finds it to Jamie Ritchie, who takes a big knock in the side of the head from Werner Koch. Ben Healy Can down the middle of the field, nicely claimed at the back. You know, I show speed. I don't know him personally, but I know of him. Going to be put high. Knocked on by Edinburgh, so they'll go back for the scrum feed again. Who scored the try for the Sharks? Just the one try for Apalele Fassi so far throughout this game. And good start to the second half by Conard, and Cardi missed the penalty from 20 metres. Says Jimbo. Now, I should mention about Apalele Fassi. He was leading in points for the first half. He was leading in tries. He was leading in clean breaks, defenders beaten, running meters, and offloads. All of those stats were led by Apalele Fassi. So, you know, at least he's having a good game throughout this one. And Benetton 10-7 up versus Conard. So here's a birdie V. And Sharks not backing Bosch anymore. So he's looking, to be honest, Masuku's not a bad option. I feel like he offers quite a nice attacking style. And don't get me wrong, like Bosch can play that attacking style too, but Masuku looks like he's not afraid of just hitting that ball up, crashing into the defensive line and trying to find that next offload that can open up the back line. But the ball is there for the Sharks to be able to use. Now Masuku goes across, looping around the back. Now manages to put in the fend. Good tackle made on him though by Jake Henry. Bit of a counter ruck coming there from Edinburgh. Hendrickse gets it back across to Vincent Chichuka. And I'm so glad they not. He must go, says Andrew Warren. Again, Hendrickse going to the short side. Lukanyuam with the grubber. Johan Hussen, or in fact, sorry, Wes Hussen does clean it up. Doan van der Merwe gets the pass away to Hamish Watson. They're deep inside of their own territory, and he's lined up by Oxneshire. Luke don't rate Bosch. Jordan Cold lacks consistency, says Arthur. Now kick downfield. And out wide to Makazolima Pimpi. Hendrickse back across to Lukanyuam. Masuku. He's got Francois Fenner, and they have got numbers now on the outside. Werner Kokto decides to take the contact. I think Pepsi Butterlazy wanted it on the outside, and now he has to make a tackle out wide because Werner Koch has cost them the ball, although he's wrestled Duan van der Merwe extremely close to the touchline. Edinburgh still have it though, and their favour. And we have got their good player, but not a good fit for the Sharks. And the All Whites will qualify for the Football World Cups 2026. Says Dog Battery. And Benetton have been doing well at home. I have a feeling that they will go down to the wire against Conard. Their favourite All Blacks try. Well, they've had a few good ones over the years. I love watching a big lock run. So like one where Brodie Retallick has run like 30 metres with the assist from Aaron Smith. I feel like that one a little while ago does stand out as a very good one. But that is a fantastic kick in behind from the Sharks. Looking like a 50-22. We're just waiting for confirmation of whether or not it was taken back by the Sharks. But if not, then it's going to put them in the perfect position on the field. Even if it wasn't a 50-22, it still leaves Edinburgh only 5 metres out from their try line. Apalele Fassi has had a fantastic game so far. And Brodie's dummy pass was a great one. Says Jimbo, the only sport that New Zealand are kind is cricket. They are badass in other sports. Do you think Apalele Fassi will make the Springbok squad anytime soon? It's going to be a tricky one because there are quite a few good options. Oh, Ewan Ashman taking that one quickly, trying to catch the Sharks off guard. Big tackle made by Pepsi Butterlazy. Manages to roll out of that breakdown without getting penalised. Because they have got, I mean, once Vili LaRue goes, I think that is when Apalele Fassi might get more opportunities. Just because at the moment, I think that they're more than happy giving Damien Valimza that 15 jersey. Unless, of course, they want to try and play Damien Valimza back into a 12 role or fly half. I'd like to see him at 15, though. I feel like that is where he's at his most dominant. Alongside Marnie Libok as the 10. Maybe Pollard and Fassi could be a combination they give a little bit of a go-to. And Fassi has to work more on his defence. Great player. Passed out wide. Lukanyuam for the corner. Scores it for the Sharks. Manages to ground it. They will just check it to make sure that it wasn't on the Edinburgh player's arm. But Lukanyuam may have just scored himself his first try of this URC match. And can't wait for him to be back for the box. Right, they're checking this one to see whether or not Lukanyuam has grounded this on a player's arm. Oh, they're actually checking for the touchline. I think he was fine when it came to him being out. I think he was completely in the field of play. I could be wrong there. Will be your reaction of New Zealand shockingly surprised whole world by winning Football World Cup 2027, winning Rugby World Cup 2027, Cricket World Cup 2027 will become prime year for New Zealand. Says Dog Battery. I would be very impressed, that is for sure. Do I think it can happen? Probably not, no. But they are just showing there. Yep, that's a grounding. And that is going to be the try for Lucanio Arms. When's the URC finals kick off? You're going to be waiting a little while. The URC finals, I believe, the last round of the URC takes place on the 2nd of June. And I think it's around that kind of 10th of June or 9th of June. That is when we normally see the start of the playoffs. It's normally the week after the last week of the comp. So it's still a long time. We're only in March at the moment, almost ticking over to April. But yeah, still another couple months. That kick is missed from Masuku, but it still gives the Sharks a nice lead here, sitting 12 points to 3 ahead. Time check. At the moment, we are sitting 51 minutes through this matchup. And the game says Blues, no worries at all. But yeah, long season for the URC. In fact, 49 minutes through, sorry, David. But your side have now taken a little bit more of a lead here. Ben Healy now to kick this one off. Edinburgh is still within a touch of this game, but they have to make sure they are the next side to score a try. The Sharks are 2 away from getting themselves their bonus point for 4 or more tries in a contest. And that is the minimum that they will want from this one. Their points differential isn't too bad, but something that will concern them is the fact that this URC is not based off points differential. It is based off how many wins you've got under your belt. And the Sharks have only got the 2 so far. That ball's going to be bouncing back and goes into touch on almost the 40-metre line inside of Sharks territory. Oh, they bench Sale. He is literally the GOAT goalkeeper of the All Whites. And both European trophies are finished out before last 2 rounds of the URC, says Jimbo. And yeah, kind of that late June is when we see both Super Rugby and Premiership and URC finals all taking place within the same kind of week or 2. That's going to be popped up for Pepsi Buthelezi. And the Sharks will get the bonus point, I think. They're coming good now. It's kicked high from Masuku. They just need to keep on throwing caution to the wind here. The Sharks. And that ball's set up beautifully for the replacement Ethan Hooker. He actually started at number 12 for the last game. Ball bounces out the side, but the penalty goes the way of the Sharks. And we know the Super Rugby Pacific playoffs, they are normally around that early June stage as well. We don't get there too much rugby, says Jimbo. There's a lot of rugby. At the moment, we've got the 7s next week for Hong Kong. We've got the round of 16 for the Champions Cup, which we are going to be covering on the channel as well. Hamish, are you a golf person? I play a little bit of golf. I wouldn't say I'm great at it. I was going all right just before the Rugby World Cup, but with the schedule that we had for the Rugby World Cup, it meant that I wasn't really doing a whole lot other than editing, recording, scheduling, and pretty much just organising everything to do with that World Cup. Of course, we did cover every single game. It was pretty brutal, but, you know, we got through it, which I feel like is one of the biggest achievements of the channel since we started it. But Masuku, they're actually lining up the 3 points here. So the Sharks are looking to try and get that lead back to 12. I don't understand that. I feel like this is one of those opportunities that you kick for the corner while you've got Edinburgh reeling. Masuku's missed it as well. So that was a terrible decision from the Sharks. And that is the nicest way of putting it. They need a bonus point. They're not going to win the URC competition. They're not going to make it to the top 8 if they can't close out all their games from here with 5 points on the board in terms of the winning bonus point. That just seems like a pretty negative choice for the Sharks in that scenario. Are you going to cover European Champions League? Talking about the football? Probably not, no. I know that they are taking place, I think it is next week or the week after. I think those quarterfinals are taking place. Dave Cherry's onto the field. That is for Ewan Ashman. We need Bosch, says Luke. They need someone who wants to kick for the corner, and I don't know whose decision it was to not go for the corner there for the Sharks, but it was a bad decision. The URC Finals on the 22nd of June, says Johan there. And it's going to be another penalty going the way of Edinburgh, who have decided to take the quick tap with Velicott. I think it's your third stream straight for tonight. How much more to come? We have still got one more match that has taken place, and that is kicking off in 3 hours' time. Looks like my 2 Shark bets are going to pay off, says David Rain. Although with decisions like they just made, I wouldn't be so sure. It seems like they are looking to just try and win this game rather than winning it comfortably. And now instead Edinburgh are going to have a decent attacking opportunity if they can get the turnover here. So let's get you a shave, Hamish, says David. And we are the Super Rugby final. So yeah, kind of that early June, running straight through to around that kind of 24th of June, I think is the final, or somewhere around there. That throw's not straight from the Sharks. Masuku, I think they're just starting to realise maybe that wasn't the best decision to go for 3 points when you're only ahead by 9. At the end of the day, Edinburgh, it's still 2 converted tries no matter what. Whether they had that one or not, they were going to need 2 converted tries to get themselves the win. UCL final is the 2nd of June at Wembley, London. Come on, mate, you should cover it. Says Dog Battery will consider it if nothing else overlaps with when it is on. Not sure if this is correct, but I heard Vinnicock is leaving the Sharks as BDV. I think that is right. Where's he going? Is he going Europe or Japan or... Can't quite remember where he's ended up, as Duan got a chance to show off his speed a little bit down the wing, but not as much as we would normally see. Tell you what, he's going to have a good chance here, though. If Edinburgh can fire this ball out wide, Velicott going to Jamie Ritchie, runs it flat and straight. Adlu Kanyuam. Now back across Healy, in behind. Nice run from Henry. Marcus only Mapimpi wanting the turnover, but didn't have the hands on the ball. Sharks games, they lost by only a few points. Sharks have only have bad fly halves. Can't kick for points, says Armand, which would make more sense why they should have gone for the corner there rather than going for the 3 points. Cock and JC Pretorius need to be playing league rugby, says Katsanel. About 12 metres out from the line here from Edinburgh. Only 7 phases in. South African commentator saying they're a little bit static in their play, but it's all about trying to build up, and they have now got themselves the penalty advantage, so they've worked exactly what they needed. Duan Fundermerva tries to crash his way forward. And Verticock going to Ulster, says Birdie V. Now 10 metres from the line. No advantage in favour of Edinburgh. And getting over the ball there. Okay, 6 is in the side. We're going back for the penalty. Here's the comment from the referee. That is against James Fenta. And Hamish, in your opinion, who is going to win the UCL? Let me give you options. Real Madrid, Man City, PSG, Barcelona, Dortmund, Atletico Madrid. Where are the other sides that are taking part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only give me 6. Who are the other 2? Are they like massive underdogs, I assume? Now lining up this kick. And Sharks play bet. See, this is one. Why? Okay, Edinburgh are taking the 3 as well. Maybe a little bit more understandable because that puts them within 7. But, you know, it's interesting. It seems to me that both sides doubt that they can score tries here. And don't get me wrong, maybe they are slightly correct. We've only seen the 1 try being scored, that being of Apalili Fassi for the Sharks in that first half. But you've got to back your players. And you've got to believe that you can get over the line, and that's what the Sharks need. There's also Arsenal and Bayern, says Dog Battery. I mean, like, Man City's probably a good option. Same with PSG. Bit of a dark horse could be maybe Arsenal, just because you never quite know what they're going to do when they take to the field. The ball is available for Edinburgh. Edinburgh have a cunning plan. Says Brian announced the weather in Durban. It looks all right so far. I thought I saw a few raindrops before, but that may have just been the camera playing up a little bit. I think Keita is a great replacement for Werner Koch, says Andrew. He looked real strong in the last game, Keita. It's unfortunate that he's injured currently, but I don't think he's going to be out for too long. Now, Apalili Fassi on the halfway line, trying to run this one back forward. 23 minutes remaining. Ball pops out the back. Here comes Werner Koch on the outside. Manambi, who's flattened there by Duan van der Merwe. Knock on from Oxneshire. And Edinburgh get into the breakdown. They don't win the penalty. So it is now going to be there for the scrum. I'm rooting for the Spanish Giants. Says Dole Battery and Bayern is probably going to take it. But for sure making the finals. Says Katzenel. Handling errors, we have seen 9 so far for the Sharks in this game compared to the 6 of Edinburgh. I should mention we have got another game just around the corner as well, ladies and gents. That is kicking off in just under 3 hours' time. That is going to be the contest between the Stormers and Ulster. We are covering that one on the channel. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have done an all-nighter here. And this is actually, in terms of the weekend, I believe we're up to about our 7th live stream. We did the URC earlier on today. We then did 4 games of Super Rugby back to back to back to back, which has been interesting. We had some good games, we had some not so good games, but now we're up to the URC where we have got just the 1 game left after this one. My final prediction, Real Madrid, Man City versus Arsenal, PSG. I know PSG is bloody choice, but they have great youngsters, and you're doing well, mate. Says Razor Robinson. And there as well, but a little bit of a stoppage here just for the players to have a drink. And time remaining, currently still 22 minutes remaining in this contest. And I should mention the score is now 12 points to 6. Still in favour of the Sharks. It's going to be the scrum feed now for the Sharks here. And can see the Stormers crashing the life out of Ulster, I'm afraid. Says Jimbo. And also, mate, where would the Hurricanes rank in the URC? Very hard to tell. Of course, they have had a decent home and away record, whereas in the URC, seems to be away from home games are much harder to win than those being played at home. So, yeah, it would be very hard to know whereabouts they would find themselves. This current side that they've got, though, they are looking very good indeed. And maybe next year, if they win Super Rugby, we get to see them face off against the winners of the URC, similar to what they did with Crusaders and Munster. But now passed out the back line. Edinburgh knocking that ball on again. Now Jaden Hendrickse going for the kick of mine, which does make it advantage over Edinburgh with Jamie Ritchie. Is he going to go for the kick? No, instead he's going to try and run it straight at Hendrickse there. And come on, the Gunners. Says David, and how many subscribers till we get a house tour? Says Luke, probably still a few away. Like, the house, in some regards, is still not theoretically finished. Like, we've got a few renovations going on. You might get a tour of the Kiwi Lads studio, perhaps, which is in the making at the moment. But by that, I mean it's just like a room with a couch in it. So it's not really that fancy. And Edinburgh, says David, and Hurricanes will be number 1. I put 60 on Leinster. Says Razor Robinson. And Sharks making a back-to-back wins in Edinburgh. It's back-to-back something. How you holding up at 3:25 a.m, mate? I'm doing surprisingly all right. Like, I'm not tired myself, but my eyes do want to keep on trying to, like, close. I think that's just because they're so bloodshot. Like, that one there is, like, that is pretty destroyed at the moment. But we got another one where you create a Discord server. We actually already have a Discord server. Fun fact. And also we have got there, I missed one earlier on. And wait, what's the secret rooms? Says Blues Nate. You've probably seen it, Nate, if you've watched the entertainment channel. A couple of the videos on there. That was only like the really like basic setup though. We've got a few plans that we want to put into, I guess, put into play, but the budget isn't there at the moment, sadly. Are you renovating it yourself? Myself and Dad, we have been doing it. So we pretty much added an office on. Had to get a permit and everything, which took a long time. But yeah, it's starting to look quite nice. Got painted the other day. And lining up this kick, Masuku, after the penalty was won by the Sharks. I can understand why they're taking the 3 now, but I don't like it. That's going to be converted, and it is making the score now 15 points to 6. It's going to extend their lead. But I think if they were just that tad more aggressive, they should have the chance at the bonus point here. And maybe they still can get it. If they still get it, I will eat my words. But I feel like the Sharks, when you're in last place on the table and you need to make up 20 points to get towards that quarterfinal mark, you've got to throw absolutely everything into your games. And yes, a win is important, but I think that they've got this win secured. It's just the fact that they haven't been willing to go for those tries that little bit more often in the second 40 minutes. And yes, Connor, it's Ulster match next. So yeah, Connor, we are going to be covering that one. Although, first of all, there is an Ospreys versus Lions game, but we aren't covering that one on the channel. Instead, we are coming back for the Stormers versus Ulster, just kicking off in around 3 hours' time, or actually just a little bit under the 3 hours' time. Now, looking for the offload there was Apalele Fasi, ball on the outside. Oxnishare trying to go through. Wrestled down by his collar. Bulls were disappointing against Leinster another level. Says another person there. And oh yes, yep. And now stolen there by Edinburgh. And what size screen are you watching? I think it's about a 22-inch monitor. Somewhere around there. Ball is loose again. This time Lukanyuam is the player who picks it up. Looks like maybe Oxnishare is down with some cramping in back play. Kicking it downfield from Apalele Fasi. Fantastic kick. And he gets the 50-22. Only 2 meters out from the line. 5 meter line out here now for the scrum. Or for the Sharks, I should say. The Sharks, I think, have given up on reaching the top, says Stefan. But they shouldn't. That's the thing. Like, if they throw absolute caution to the wind for the rest of the season and put together a winning streak, theoretically, they still have a little bit of a chance of getting there. And it looks like Apalele Fasi, he is absolutely loving it at the moment. He is trying to keep his side in the hunt. He wants them to attack. You have a red room. What's a red room? I don't think so. I don't actually know what a red room is, but I also don't have a room in my house that's red. So no. Don't think so. Unless a red room is not actually red, then maybe. Now line out, 5 meters out from the line. In fact, they're going to take the quick... Hey, why have they taken the quick tap there? Why did they take a quick tap? It was a 50-22, was it not? Okay, it's a 5 meter scrum now for the Sharks, but I didn't realise you could take a quick tap off a 50-22, or is that just a new thing? Maybe, actually, what may have happened was maybe, like, Edinburgh closed the gap or something while they were showing the crowd. That is more than likely what has actually happened. Because, yeah, I got very confused for a second there how that was taken place. But anyone who's new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We have got plenty more of the URC coming in the future. This game, there's still plenty left. Hi, Hamish. Just got back from a walk on the beach. Good to see the Sharks are ahead. Says Josh Pike, and they've got a good opportunity here to extend their lead with a try. Surely you'll eat your words for free. But I can get you to shave for 75. Oh, but I can't get you to shave for 75. Once again, though, that picture, once you see that picture, you'll be like, oh, nah, fair enough. You probably want a few hundred for that. Because me without a beard or any sort of facial hair just does not look great. I can tell you right now, I look a little bit baby-faced, but not in a good way. Now they're going to have another scrum reset in this one. And once again, you see that? Just popped up. Doesn't look great. 15 meters remaining. Oh, sorry, 15 minutes remaining. 5 meters remaining from the try line here for the Sharks. Are you planning to visit any country? I mean, I'd like to visit Australia at some stage in the future, I would say, but no plans in terms of anywhere else other than Australia at this stage. Maybe Fiji would be a cool option, but yeah, I'd definitely need more money for that. Be able to go overseas. Jaden Hendrickse now feeding that ball in. Big push there, but it's off the back. Now only 5 meters from the line. Nice attacking run from Hooker. See that they've made a couple more changes. Just looking around once again for Pepsi Buthelezi, as he is always one to watch out for when they are close to the try line. Loves crossing the chalk. Looks like it's going to be a cross there. 5 meters out from the line. Does he take on the carry? No, instead he's going to leave it there for Jaden Hendrickse. He's been pulled into that breakdown. So Daniel Euster does have to go for it. And 5 meter line out for the scrum. It's a funny tongue slip. Says the back Simon. And I was like, is South Africa stolen? Nope, it's a penalty. And that is pretty cynical. Hamish Watson also kicking that ball away. He might as well just walk off the field now because he's just given away pretty much 2 cynical infringements back to back in one play. Okay, they're actually going to say that that is not a yellow card for Hamish Watson, even though he kicked that ball away so that they couldn't take it quickly. I think that was more strategic than they actually realised. And there. I think I've drunk about 4 or 5 of these today. Red Room Jane here. And $75. Wow. Says a Blues night. Oh, they're taking the 3 again. This is not looking like a side who want to make it to the quarterfinals. You got 13 minutes left in the game. It's going to give you a bit more of a lead. I'll be honest, this is a terrible statement, but the fact that they keep on taking the 3s, you know, Edinburgh score 2 converted tries, I wouldn't be completely against it. Because, like, this Sharks side, they need to realise this is their opportunity. They're 5 metres from the line. You got to go for it, don't you? You're sitting bottom of the table. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain. You need to create a win streak, and all you're doing is tapping over 3-pointers to try and save yourself a little bit of face. And wow, and shows the picture too fast, says David Rain. And yeah, it is fast on purpose, though. Most expensive barbershop, that's a 70, cheapest 75. It's Blues Nate. Have you been to South Africa before? I have not, no. But I have a question, ladies and gentlemen. I assume we have got a few Sharks supporters watching this live stream. Watching the Sharks here, when they've got 2 tries, they need 2 more to get a bonus point, which would give them the 5 points in this game rather than the 4. Seeing them constantly take on 3-pointers here at this stage of the contest, when they are sitting last on the table, when they will be moving up to maybe 13th if they do get themselves the victory here. But does it make you frustrated that they aren't willing to go for a try for the sake of getting a bonus point and keeping their hopes of a quarterfinal alive? And I agree with you, Hamish. Sharks should go for the tries, says Brian, and go the Sharks, says Ezra. I bet you've been up all evening. Did you sleep yet, says Katzenell. He normally stays up all throughout the streams. Oh, Blues, Nate. Hey, yes, says Joss. And young Jacob Umanga played very well at 10 for Benetton, 1 to watch, says Jimbo. Yeah, they got a few of the Wasps boys at Benetton. Looks like Austin Share. His day might be done. Looks like he is going to be limping off the field. Agree, go for the top 8. Says Blues Nate. Now again, Edinburgh. They are going to kick this one for the corner. They don't mind about taking that risk, trying to get themselves the reward. And if they get this one over and they can somehow turn this into a try, they will actually be right back in the game. And the Sharks haven't done enough to increase the lead to a point where Edinburgh can't get back into it. I love you, Sharks, says Ezra. And Oxney Shea just getting a round of applause from the crowd. Time at the moment is 70 minutes. About 10 seconds away from 70 minutes anyway. And now Dave Cherry breaking off the back there for Edinburgh. Still time left in this contest. Going back across to the left-hand side. I thought Benetton were bankrupt, says Katzenell. No, I think they were all right overall. There were a couple other teams in the Premiership who were struggling. That looked like a knock-on the ground from Edinburgh. In fact, they have said play on. Now it is going to be passed out wide. They might check this again depending on how many phases it is before we see Edinburgh cross that try line. Theoretically, they want to put together 4 because that way the TMO cannot actually go back far enough to be able to rule it out. Ben Healy, some nice stepping from him. Gets the offload away to James Lang. Gets through one. Gets through another. He's galloping. That time he's knocked it on, though. Wait, what? Okay, they said that the Sharks knocked that one backwards. I think they are nerves. They just want to make sure they secure the game. I think they will attack like hell soon, says Andrew Warren. I think that they've left it almost too late. 9 minutes remaining now. They've got themselves the penalty inside of their own 22, so they've got a fair way to go up the field. And I agree, it's important that they got themselves the win here, But I think that they've had this win in the bag for maybe the last, I want to say like maybe 25 minutes or so. But I think that they have still kept Edinburgh in the game by not going for those tries. A win is a win, says David. I mean, it is for you, seeing as you have got a bet on them. So any win margin does get you paid. 12 points difference between these two sides as we currently sit in this game. Daniel Juster now to throw this one in. Nicely taken at the front by Lavaskachny. The rolling maul for the Sharks. Doesn't make a huge amount of meters that time. Now Ethan Hooker tackled in the midfield. Machono, he did run forward, but they actually missed the passing chance to him. And Sharks fans, slippery fingers, hitting that like button up to that scoreboard, please, thanks. Says Marguerite. At the moment, it is up to date, although it is actually ahead. It's currently 72 minutes through rather than 74. The score is still 18 points to 6 as we currently sit. The ball has gone high, and it's nicely taken by Makazole Mapimpi under the high ball. Ball has gone loose. There is a knock-on advantage in favour of the Sharks. Now they've got another chance for a scrum. And I honestly think if they win a penalty here, they will take on the 3 points because that would at least get them ahead by more than 2 converted tries. And then they can, I guess, throw caution to the wind. It's just a question of how late are they going to leave it before they start doing so. Hendrickse is like a snail behind the breakdowns and the scrums, says Justin. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he fits into the Bok picture. Of course, they've got some great halfbacks available at the moment, whether that is Grant Williams, whether it's going to be Kobus Reinach, Faf de Klerk is still in the running, other nines that are available playing in South Africa. Herschel Yankees is there. You've got Ambrose Papier, Zach Berger. I'm just trying to list every single halfback that I can think of. The Stormers have got another one. I can see him. He's blonde, Paul de Vet. You know, there's a lot of options. Nohamba is another one that they could look at and try Conrad. Says a Jimbo. So what, mate? So what score is that now? I assume that is Conrad very close to coming back into it, is it? They are just showing the live table. Edinburgh would be sitting on 34 points still if the scoreline remained the same. The Sharks would be sitting in 13th on 18 points, still 5 behind the team in 12th, and a whole 20 points or so still behind. Herschel Yankees, I would go with Williams or Reinach at scrum half. Grant Williams is too small. Says Katzenell. Would you still put him in the squad and an option out on the wing though? And Conrad clutched. And a 13 to 12 conversion to come. And I rate Morne Vandenberg at the Lions. Says Justin. Yeah, he's another good option that they could actually look at. And to be fair, Nohamba has been playing more of 10, hasn't he, for the Lions? Interception for Edinburgh. This is their chance to get back into the contest. And they will convert this try and they will now be within 7. They just want to check this one to make sure it's all okay. But if it is, Edinburgh have a chance of winning this game. Right, they're going to have a look at this. On-field decision is try. They want to check whether or not there is a deliberate knock-on here from Edinburgh. If it's gone backwards, it's a try. If it is a deliberate knockdown, I believe it would actually end up being more than likely a penalty against the same man who managed to score the try, that being Matthew Curry. Right, they're going to check this one out now. Oh, did it hit the finger of Hamish Watson here? He tried to block the pass. May have just got a little clip with the forearm, which may have saved them. Which means I have 2 winning bets and enough to get you to shave today before your next broadcast. Says David. And 5 minutes left, says Jimbo there. And how is Hendricks and Williams both in the box squad? They are both playing for the Sharks. Says the Black Sarmona, right, Cam Roy guard for the ABs. That guy's going to be a star. And it's a shame that he ended up with his injury today. Dislocated knee, could be out for about 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, there's no chance of a line break, so that try is actually going to be ruled out. Watson will be disappointed. He probably knew it at the time that he was in a bit of trouble, but that should be a sign for the Sharks to get something going here. They have got the penalty on the halfway line. Is Bosch kicking this one for the corner, or are they going to be going for the 3 points once more? Okay, now this time they are kicking it for the corner. 5 minutes left, says Jimbo. Oh, and Connacht have got themselves the lead up against Benetton. That will be a big win for Connacht if they can close out, get themselves a victory in that one. Still 6 minutes remaining, and Cam Roigard is indeed a player to watch this year, says Justin. And I hope he comes to South Africa for the 2 tests, says Justin. Yeah, I think that will mainly depend on that injury. And I think either will go in South Africa, mate, says Dan Morto. I think that it's going to be a very entertaining series. It's a series with a lot of tension and a lot of heat coming into it. Hype around the games as well. I wish it was a 3-match series rather than just 2. But, you know, 1-1 I feel like will satisfy no one. We need to see a clear winner between those 2 sides. And even though they do play each other in November, it just won't quite feel the same. Bosch going to the short side. That is a deliberate knockdown. Our Waitu Makazole Mapimpi. The Sharks now moving within 5 metres. Hendrikse looking for their next pass. Goes short to Daniel Juster. Got the penalty advantage. Rush defence there on Labaskakni. Shut down there. Bosch is stripped to the ball. And they're going back for a penalty. It is going to be a yellow card here for Edinburgh. And this is a perfect chance. Sharks, they've got to kick for the corner. Yes, 3 points here would get them into a position where they can't lose this match. But you're up against a 14-man side. He's not too happy about it. He's actually getting pushed and shoved by every single one of the Sharks player. He's really not happy there. I think that is Charlie Shield. He was going over to the Sharks asking for a little bit of sympathy, and all of the Sharks players pretty much told him to F off and get off the field. And South Africa games are 90%. There's Katzenau and Sharks Renaissance. They are just showing him here. Question is, where was it that he ends up giving away that penalty? Okay, it's not there. And it's not there. So it must have been somewhere else. Because him getting sent to the bin, I haven't seen anything that he's done wrong in that moment. Umunga, I missed a drop kick by 1 inch, 2 minutes, says Jimbo. Looks like Bowen Fenta going to be making his way from the field. Charlie Shield will not be returning back into this match. They are kicking for the corner now, the Sharks. They are looking for the 3rd try of this contest. Good for me and me, Sharks, says David Rain. Yeah, if they can score now, they've won this game. Just more of the question of, do they have enough time to cement that bonus point that they are after? A lot of supporters in the stands for this game. I believe their next one up against Zebre is also going to be a home game for the Sharks. Daniel Juster now to throw this one in. It's not claimed cleanly. And now Edinburgh have got that ball back. This one is over, says Dan Borton. And try for Benetton. Kick downfield from Ben Healy. Gets it into touch. Do they take it quickly for the Sharks? They certainly do. Here comes up a Lilifasi. Cross to Makazolema Pimpi. Had a relatively quiet game so far throughout this matchup. Machunu strips the ball off him and says, let me have a run with it. Hendrikse back across to Bosch and behind to Upper Lilifasi. Werner Koch on the outside. Here comes Pepsi Butalezi. One more to Lukanyoam. But they don't get through as of yet. Hendrikse across to Raul, the man who replaced Eben Etzebeth. Now Makazolema Pimpe. One more on the outside to Pepsi Butalezi, and he will finish the job for the Sharks. Gets over the try line and manages to score it late for the Sharks. That is try number 3. Now they need one more. They need the 4th. This one is over, says Dan Botta, show me the money, says David Rain. Pepsi Buthelezi scoring it out wide. He's deserved one. He's been waiting patiently all throughout this game. He's one of my picks as a guy who could score a try at the start of the game, so I'm glad he has got over. Just past out wide to Pepsi Buthelezi, who uses his power, bumps over 2 challengers. Let's go Sharks. And Conrad 14-13 in the 78th minute. I thought Benetton scored, according to Jimbo there. And game over, Benetton win 18 points to 14, so a solid win there for the Italian side. The Shark supporters are absolutely loving that one. They've got 2 minutes 30 remaining to get themselves another here. And at the moment, the way that it sits, Edinburgh cannot get themselves a bonus point, so their job here is to get this ball into touch as soon as possible after that 80-minute siren, whereas the Sharks, they will be throwing absolutely everything at this Benetton side, at this Edinburgh side, to try and walk away with their bonus point. Gerwin Bosch lining up this kick. It was curling round, but it doesn't curl enough. So the score remains at 23 points to 6. 2 minutes remaining now on the clock here between these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go like this. We will go like that as well. And France are 3, Scotland are 0 in the Ladies Six Nations games. That's on at the moment. And let's get another one, gents. Says Andrew Warren. Going to be kicked off by Healy. Nicely taken. Or was it? No, it's been put into touch here by the Sharks, which means Edinburgh, with 100 seconds remaining on the clock, has now got themselves a chance. That's a crime rate in New Zealand. It's all right where I am. But then, like everywhere, it depends on where you are, what region you're in, and kind of what's in your area. But like being from a small town, you don't really see too much. Like, oh, that's going to be a free kick for Edinburgh, who do take the quick tap. They are playing like a side who want to try and get within the 7 and get themselves some sort of bonus point in this contest, as well as cut down that points differential. Crowd sounds happy here, well supported this year, despite not doing so well. Says, cool story, bro. Ball is out the back for Edinburgh, nicely picked up, trying to run through the gap. But Edinburgh, they won't be a popular side if they put this ball straight into touch here in the near future. And we kicking out, attack the bonus point, says Dan Botta. And there as well. Although the bonus point is not available here for Edinburgh. Of course, the Sharks will chase it. But Edinburgh, they will feel like their job is just a little bit too much of an ask now for them to be able to score another one. That is going to be another knock on. In fact, no, it's knocked on by the Sharks. So it is the advantage in favour of Edinburgh. Ben Healy trying to carve his way through. There is a penalty advantage now for Edinburgh, and they bust through 10 metres. In fact, that's only 5 out from the line. Dave Cherry goes round the side for Edinburgh. They've been told not to get their hands in there, the Sharks. Around the side of the breakdown. WP now thought about stretching out, but he has stopped 2 metres short of the line. Edinburgh have not finished attacking as of yet. Viliami Mata, that's the full-time siren. And he's been flattened out over the line. Once again, short. No, they do get over this time. And Edinburgh score themselves the try. And that means that the Sharks, they will receive the 4 points. They will receive the win. But they don't get that try-scoring bonus point. And the gap in the points here tells us that they should have been more aggressive. They will move up to 13th on the table, which is exactly what they needed. Get a win under their belt, but up against an Edinburgh side who underperformed in this game, they should have been cashing in every day of the week. It's a high last time I was there. Stores had signs apologising for broken glass due to break-ins. This was last year, August, says Katzenell. And also we're there within a score, close, well done, Benetton, says O'Brien, and Benetton edged the muscle game. And the Sharks definitely lacked ambition, says Brian. I agree. Unfortunately, they weren't a side that looked like they were do or die in this game. And unfortunately, they were. They had to chase every bonus point that they could. And thanks so much to Stretch Fletcher. And well done, the Sharks. Thanks for the broadcast, mate. Well done, as always, says Dan Botta. So the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, it is taking place in only 2 hours and 15 or so minutes time. That will be the game between the Stormers and Ulster. We have just got the break while the Lions are playing up against Ospreys. We will still be watching that game, just keeping an eye on it. But yeah, we will be back for the Stormers versus Ulster game in only 2 hours' time. But that is the end of this contest, and the end score in this one, it will finish with it being 23 points to the 13. Bristol playing, and a Bristol win today. Says Toxic, I believe they got themselves to win the Bristol Bears. And then thank you, Legend Brother Hamish. Says a Birdie V, and thanks again, Hamish. Says Brian. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, we're back for the Stormers game. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But it is a win for the Sharks. They move up to 13th. Now we have to wait and see how it's going to go just around the corner for them in the Challenge Cup when they go head-to-head with Zebra. We have got there the Stormers versus Ulster is a big one. I'll be here. Thanks again, bro. Says Dan Borta. And see y'all in a bit, says Jimbo there as well. And winner chicken dinner. And Hamish will shave. You made me $1,750 today, says David Rain. And of that money, David, if I don't shave, of course, I get absolutely none of it, which is a shame. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. And we will see you all for the next game between the Stormers and Ulster.